Selected problems from Chapter 2. Going to start with problem 19. 15 minus x equals 37. The first thing you want to do, minus 15 from each side, which is going to give you negative x because you have the minus sign. 37 minus 15. Negative x equals 22. You don't want it to be negative x, you want it to be x. So you'll just take negative 1 times each side. A negative times a negative is a positive, so you'll have x equals 22 times negative 1, which will give you negative 22. Problem 20, x plus a negative 1/5 equals 3/5. Because you're adding a negative, I would rewrite it as x minus 1/5 equals 3/5. Solve for x. So to do that, you're going to add 1/5 to each side, leaving you with x equals 3/5 plus 1/5. You already have your common denominator of 5. 3 plus 1 is 4 over 5. Problem 21, x over negative 18.1 equals negative 9.4. You can solve this two different ways. The first way is to simply cross multiply. You'll have negative 9.4 over 1, giving you x equals negative 9.4 times negative 18.1, 170.14. Because you're multiplying two negatives, they cancel out and give you a positive answer. The second approach, take negative 18.1 over 1, multiply that to each side. These cancel out, leaving you with x equals negative 9.4 times negative 18.1 is still giving you 170.14. Problem 22, x minus negative 42 equals negative 51. I would start by rewriting this as x plus 42 equals negative 51, because subtracting a negative number results in essentially adding. Minus 42 from each side to give x equals negative 51 minus 42. Negative 51 minus 42 equals negative 93. Problem 23, negative 5 over 8x equals 20. Again, two ways to go about solving this. Take a negative 8/5 on each side. 20 times 8 is 160 over 5, so you'd have x equals negative 160 over 5. 5 will go into 160, so reducing that down. Negative 160 divided by 5 equals negative 32. The second way you could solve this problem, slightly rewriting it, negative 5x over 8 equals 20. Then you would just cross multiply, leaving you with negative 5x equals 8 times 20, which is 160. We're going to solve for x, so I would divide by negative 5. That would leave you with x equals 160 divided by negative 5, negative 32. Problem 24, negative x over 24 equals negative 4. Like the previous problems, you can cross multiply or multiply a fraction depending on how you want to approach the problem. If you want to do the fraction, you would take negative 24, multiply that by each side because you would want to end up with x. The negatives cancel out, 24s cancel out. X equals negative 4 times negative 24. Multiplying two negatives together give you a positive. 4 times 24 is 96. X equals 96. Cross multiply, have negative x equals negative 4 times 24. Negative x equals 4 times 24 is 96, so you'll have negative 96. You don't want negative x, so you'll multiply negative 1 to give you a positive x equals negative times a negative gives you a positive 96. Mr. Jameson wants to borrow $375,000 to open a Pizza Shack franchise. If he can pay $28,125 a year in interest, what interest rate can he afford to pay on his loan? Write your answer as a percent. You know he's going to borrow $375,000. He can afford to pay $28,125 a year of interest. You wind up with what percent of the $375K will equal what he can afford to pay per year, which is $28,125. We'll say the percent is X times 375,000. The story problem can be essentially reduced to this equation. Just rewrite that as 375,000x equals 28,125. Divide by 375,000 so that you're left with x equals 28,125 divided by 375,000.075. Since it's a percent, you know that all you do is move your decimal 2 places to the right to give you 7.5%. If you don't understand moving the decimal point, because it's a percent, you'll multiply by 100. So x equals 0.075 times 100. Percentage is of 100, which will give you